Hey everyone, it's Jason. Welcome to an unboxing for the Versus System 2-player card game. This is The Boys, based on the hit television series and the critically acclaimed comic book series that came before it. This is based off the TV show photogenic stuff. This is also listed as Volume 5, set number 10 in the series if you've been following along. They usually do like a crossover series at the end of each year. This is the one they chose for that. So now, if you have if you've played the Versus System before, this will integrate into any of the other Marvel Cinematic stuff, the other photographic universe stuff, which would be Alien vs. Predator, Buffy the Vampire Slayer, X-Files, that all came before it. If you've never played Versus System and you're checking this out because you're a fan of The Boys, and you're like, oh, there's a Boys card game out. Just a quick idea of what this is. Even before I get into that, just a kind of note for me. This is a 17 plus listed on here. And it does also list on here, product is based on television, is rated R. So I have not looked through extensively every single card. Now, I don't think there's anything going to be super gory, necessarily super choreographed, but I just only one card's a guy covered in blood. I don't think you're having anything like super graphic or gory in this game. But just a heads up, because this is based on an R-rated series, and you list 17 plus. If there's content that you might not want to see, I would advise you not to watch this video then, or at least be cautious. Also note that, if you've ever heard of the show or seen the comic book or seen parts of the show and you're like, that offends me, then you probably aren't for you. This video probably isn't for you either. So yeah, just a quick, brief overview. I'm sure I've done other Versus systems where I went over the game a little bit more in advance, but in case this is your first time in a Versus system for The Boys, just a quick idea. This is a combat between two players. You can play up to 4 players on teams or like different modes like that, but it's typically just be 2 players. And we have one deck here in each of this box for each player to play as, plus lots of ways to customize your own decks. So the idea is basically you are trying to defeat your opponent, your opponent's main character. So each player will have one main character, which is usually a gray or a silver, or silver gray, or it's a gold, depending on which level it is. And then you have front rows and back rows. Your front row is your melee row. They are directly attacking your other character's front row. Your back row is kind of like your support and or ranged row. So if you have characters that have ranged, your back row can attack your opponent's front row, or a ranged character from the front row can attack your character's back row. So you can always attack one line up to the next thing. So sometimes you put like your special characters, support characters in the way back. They're a little bit harder to hit. And then on the bottom down here, you have a resource row. You can play any card from your hand to be used as resources to pay for your character's cost, but they do have special location cards, so you don't have to always sacrifice your own characters. And then special locations also let you play them to spend special abilities. So, like, for example, they have the sparring room here, which will have a red target on it, lets you play cards that have a red target ability on them, such as A-Train here. So it has a little main symbol there, so they match up. So it's kind of a neat way to be able to play that, unlike, say, like Magic the Gathering, where you only have lands, which have to do stuff. Here you can play any cards. If you draw high-powered cards during your early turns, you can place them down later. You can sacrifice your smaller cards if you need to. But that's the basis of the game, for how all that works. There's other little stuff in here, like how to do combat. You can team attack with characters. Use special abilities and all that. I'm not going to go over every single little thing there. So like one other quick thing in here just to mention for neat stuff for the game is leveling up characters. And I don't even see that part in here. So maybe they don't have that in here. They have it in here. I just don't know where it's at. I was just trying to see if I had that listed in it. I don't have it listed in here somewhere. Alright, anywho. But yeah, so basically what you're trying to do then is attack your opponent's main character and deal damage to them. You can put 1/1 counters on them. We have some of these here. So we have 1/1 counters, minus 1/1 counters. We have damage icons. So each character has a health. So they take damage that stays over time. Again, unlike Magic the Gathering, which it goes away at the end of the turn. They have persistent damage on them. We also have XP counters for leveling up your main character to make them stronger. And if your characters can potentially get stunned, which will flip them over. If they do, they can lose all their 1/1 counters. So gaining counters, unlike Magic, where if you attack and you aren't defeated, sorry, I keep comparing this to Magic, but it's like the premium combat game. Unlike that, where like you attack and if you're not defeated for some reason, you keep all your counters. Here, if your character ever gets defeated, they take damage, but they lose all their counters. Then on the flip side, we have some 3s just to keep track of stuff. So yeah, pretty cool. We don't have like a playmat or anything like that. We're going to go ahead and hop into what this is. So, alright, so it says, in a world where supes are as popular as celebrities and revered as gods, a group of vigilantes known as the Boys make sure that the world's heroes never go too far. Together they face down prestigious supes team, the Seven, who run a roughshod over the people of New York City, expanding the powers of the mightiest heroes from the Seven, including Homelander and Queen Maeve, or the abilities of the cunning vigilantes from the Boys like Billy Butcher and Frenchie. 200 playable cards to strike hard and get out of the way. Cool. So we have a deck for each group. So we have a full deck here for the Boys, and then we have a full deck here for Team 7 or Vought team. So one thing else you note in here is that except for the main characters, which we have 1 copy of each, all of the support characters and other cards, we always get 4 copies of each. And this is so that when you're making up your deck, you have enough copies to make a full gameplay. So again, unlike a trading card game where you have to go and keep buying more packs and more packs, here you can just pick up this, and if I only want 2 copies of Hugh Campbell in here, I can just put 2 copies in my deck. If I want to have all 4, I can have all 4. And that's going to be the same for pretty much every card. They might occasionally have cards in here that have one of a kind. I don't see any in here yet. I was just double checking. Yeah, I don't see any. There might be some. Sometimes they occasionally have cards listed as one of a kind or 1 per deck, and they only give you 1 copy of them. Again, other than the main characters. And in the main characters, you get 1, 2, 3, 4. We have 5 different ones for the Boys. You only use 1 per game, so we get some different options. So when you're playing the game each time, you don't have to play as the same characters every time. And in the instruction book, they do have a list for your first deck. So if you're playing as the Boys, they do mention, hey, do this one. So they're saying, use Butcher as your main character. You have 33 cards, so you're going to have Starlight, the Boys version. You have 3 copies of each, since you have 4, 9 plot twists, 2 of some of these, and then 4 and 3 of some of these different locations. Versus we're using the Vought side. You have Homelander as the main character, 2 copies of the Vought version of Starlight. But we have 2s and 3s for a lot of these, and then 3 equipment and 2 plot twists and a bunch of locations. So they have some different deck building options. And they even mention like there's some characters that are easy, medium, and a little bit harder difficulties. So you have some options there as well. There's also 3-4 player rules, stuff like that. And then building deck or some other stuff here. So the other big thing I've mentioned earlier was photographic universe. So it's anything like images from movies, TV shows, or video games, included in this universe. When you're building a deck, you can only use stuff from there. Versus illustrated, which is drawing or painted, which is the comic books. So you're not supposed to pick up the Spider-Man set and the Fantastic Four set and add them in here unless you're playing with the Spider-Man set from the cinematic universe. Now, if you're just playing at home with your friends, you can really do whatever you want. But keep this in mind that a lot of people play these games for tournaments. If you're building a cool deck, don't mix and match stuff, then play as someone that plays as a tournament, because they'll probably be like, well, you can't use that in a tournament. You know, just make sure everyone agrees at the beginning of the game. Alright, that was a very, very long intro for people. Hope y'all stuck around with me. Let's go ahead and see what's in this game. So we're going to start with a level 1 up here at the top. This is B at the top is the team level. Billy Butcher. He has 3 attack and 4 defense. You see these 2 symbols here, wings and a little target. They're blocked out. It means he does not currently have those abilities. Some characters will. They just have it open. And then he has 6 health. So this is your main character. So you're going to be using him in combat the entire game, but you want to keep him alive. Typically, the main characters always have a lot more health than supporting characters, even if it's a supporting character, the same version. So there should be a copy of Butcher in the deck here somewhere. Yeah, so like we have a copy of Butcher here later on. His stats are a lot higher. He's a 7/7, but he only has 1 health. So typically supporting characters and main characters don't always have the same number of attack and defense, but they also have the same amount of health. Alright, so he has a special ability called Where's Your Rage? So during your main phase, you can pay 1 green or strength to put a 1/1 counter on a character on your side equal to the number of characters with 1 health in your KO pile. Ooh, so you can definitely power up a 1 character a lot. As the game goes on, you'll get more and more powerful. And then he has Spank Them When They Get Out of Line. Level up 4. When Butcher attacks a supporting character, he gains XP equal to its printed health. Cool. So every time he attacks a character, he's going to gain that. He only needs to attack the level 4. So he can attack a level 4 character or a 5, 6 higher than that. Or he can attack 4 level 1 characters over a series of turns. So whatever he feels comfortable dealing damage to. Then when he levels up, you switch him over to his level 2 spot, which now his attack goes from 3/4 to 6/7. Now, I'm not going to go bring this up over every card. I just want to show it for the base one. But his health stays the same. Typically, the health always stays the same, but it's not 100%. So now he keeps his Warrior's Rage ability, but he loses his level up ability and gains a new one called I'm Just Gonna Hurt You. So in any combat situation, a little any symbol there, circle around, you can pay a blue to stun Butcher and KO each enemy supporting character in combat with him. So cool. So you basically can stun, which means he loses all his counters he would have. But he can KO every other supporting character. So he can take out a bunch more guys if he needs to. So basically the idea would be pump him up a bunch, and then your opponent's going to hopefully block with a bunch of characters to take him out, and then you're going to stun him and just waste a bunch of characters out at the same time. Would be the idea of that. Cool. Alright, our second main character is Frenchie. Gunrunner by trade. During your turn, when Frenchie's in the back row, other characters in that row have range. So now you can see the range symbol is highlighted, so he can attack from 1 row away from him. I know a little about a lot of things. Level up 10. When you play a card, Frenchie gains 1 XP. So a little bit easier to gain XP, but it's going to take a little bit more cards to do it. And then when he levels up, he has Gunrunner by trade. During your turn, while Frenchie is in your back row, other characters in that row have range. And develop a certain niche. For combat, you can pay 2 of each color to KO a defending main character. So that's nuts, right? He can literally just win the game unless your opponent, for some reason, has multiple main characters out. Which I don't know if that's even possible in any of the photographic stuff. I know some of the comic book ones do. Also really neat here is they have the pictures from the show. Each card has a different artwork. A lot of the comic book ones, they keep the same artwork per every card for the same character. I think just because they might be repeating different things. You might have Spider-Man one set as a Spider-Friend, then Spider-Man another set as an Avengers, just to keep all the same versions similar, but I don't think they plan on reprinting the boys set. It'd be cool if they made an expansion, because this probably takes place a couple seasons in. That'd be kind of neat. Alright. So, our third character is Huey, Just 'Cause You Fall. In combat, pay a green. Well, Huey is defending. During this combat, if he gets stunned, he doesn't get wounded. When he gets a stun rate, and when he gets stunned, recover him. He can use his power any number of times this turn. Okay, cool. So if he gets stunned, he doesn't take a wound and he automatically gets back up. Neat. So basically, he can't get stunned. Doesn't mean you have to stay there. Level up 3. When Huey recovers, he gains 1 XP. Nice. So it'd be just normal recovery, or if you recover and using that ability. That's pretty cool. And then he has, same thing, just because you fall. Because wherever the price is, I'll pay it. Pay 1 of any color. Stun a supporting character that has a superpower with the same power symbol Huey has paid. Cool. So it wants to be a supporting character, but it can be anyone that has it. Not every single supporting character is going to have that. So it's also very interesting. Up next, we have Kamiko, the female. Kamiko strikes an additional time this combat. It says, of the species, level up 4. When Kamiko strikes, she gains 1 XP. So she might level up a little bit faster. And then when she levels up, she has Teacher Combat ability, the female, and more deadlier than the male. If Kamiko is defending, cancel the combat. Then start a melee combat with Kamiko as the attacker and the former attackers as defenders. During that combat, you can play combat plot twists that don't have the anytime symbol. Interesting. So why is that important? Because there are certain cards you can play as an attacker, certain cards you can, or cards or abilities you can play as an attacker, and some you can play as a defender. So she can basically turn that around and be like, oh, you're not the attacker anymore, therefore you lost your abilities that said when you were attacking, and now I can play this ability that says when I'm attacking. So that's pretty cool. Very neat. I do want to note, however, I have read couple of the novels of early on of the boys. I have not yet watched the TV show, so I might not know 100% whoever characters and how they changed. And I haven't read a comic book for a while, so forgive me if I miss stuff or I misinterpret things. Alright, we have Mother's Milk, who has Plan Ahead. Build the top 5 cards of your deck. Put 1 on the top and the rest on the bottom. Interesting. Deck searching in this game doesn't happen too often. More comfortable on the smaller scale. When you play a character or play an equipment with 3 costs or less, you gain 1 XP. Neat. Awesome. So those are our 5 characters for the boys team. So again, each one's going to very much dictate kind of how you build your deck. Although you only have a set number of cards in this set for the boys, you might lean more towards certain characters versus other characters. You might want 4 of one, maybe 2 of another, just depending on who you're playing as. And then you can always... Oh, we didn't look at his level 2 yet. I'm sorry. And then you can always mix and match with the Vought team as well, the Supes. So you can always mix and match these 2 teams together. So Mother's Milk level 2 has Plan Ahead and you stick to the plan. Double red for the rest of the game. When Mother's Milk is spaced up on your side, you may lay the top card of your deck at any time. You may play characters, equipment, or plot twists from the top of your deck. Oh, that's neat. Getting to play anything wherever you need to. That is cool. Alright, we're going to jump into supporting characters. So unless I mention otherwise, there's going to be 4 copies of each card. I'm just not going to put 4 copies up in front of the camera. And they're going to go from lowest cost to highest. So it's going to start with 1, and then we'll go 2s, 3s, 4s. So it's not necessarily in any particular order other than that. So we have Hugh Campbell Sr. Says you don't have to fight. Main characters on your side have -2 strength but +2 defense. Cool, that's interesting. We have Robin Ward. And if this is who I think it is, she does not last very long. She says she was half a step off the curb. When Robin gets attacked, KO her. Then choose a face-up boys character on your side to gain 1 XP or a +1 counter. Oh, that's neat. Not often are there cards that give your characters XP counters, so that's pretty cool. Cherie, who has Explosive Diversion. KO a face-down location on your side. If you do, choose a main character on your side. While it's in your back row, it can't be attacked until your next turn. Interesting. A very big effect to be able to, like, prevent yourself, but it could be in the thing between taking damage and not taking damage, of course. Grace Mallory. I'm the founder of your little club. You pay 1 less to recruit your first boys character not named Grace Mallory each turn. When you recruit your first boys character not named Grace Mallory each turn, draw a card. Interesting. Okay, that's cool. Lets you draw a card every turn. And this also kind of points something like this could work nice with him, right? Whenever you play a card, gain XP. Well, she's going to let you play your boys cards cheaper and draw cards. Same thing with, like, Mother's Milk, like, the fact you can find cards, or play them for cheaper. So stuff like that. So like, she's going to work better with those 2 characters as opposed to some of the other ones. CIA Deputy Director Susan Rainier. You and your corporation are screwed. Main pay a reg. Exhaust an enemy location. It can't ready until after its next turn. Exhaust resources don't produce recruit points. So they can't. So basically shutting down their ability to play stuff. Here is our supporting version of Huey. So what is neat about this is because if you're playing main character as Huey, you might be like, okay, well, why would I include this in my deck? Well, there's a uniqueness rule in the game, means you can't have 2 characters with the exact same name out. So if you're a main character in Huey, or the Butcher, or Mother's Milk, Frenchie, whoever, one of them, you can't play their supporting character at the same time. But what you can do is you can use them to boost up your character. I forgot the exact name of it was called. But basically you can do is discard this card to give that character a 1/1 counter. So I could still put this Huey in my deck, up to 4 of them, and be able to give my main character a boost whenever I need it. So that's definitely a neat little alternate extra reason to keep extra of these cards in your deck. I don't usually go out after a massacre. When an enemy character gets KO'd, you may hide Huey. Oh, we have hide mechanics in here now? Okay, I gotta look up exactly what they say for hide in here. Because I don't know if they had this in any of the other sets so far. Right here. Alright, so we're gonna look at what this does. When a character hides, turn it face down but ready. Remove any 1/1 or -1/1 counters and equipment from it. A hidden character can't attack or defend, does not protect anyone behind it, and loses its powers. It keeps the other information like name and team affiliation. Hidden characters not satisfying team affiliation for plot twists. So basically what it does is it pulls them completely out of the game for that turn. Yeah, so it's ready. So yeah, it just hides them, and then that way you can keep them from doing stuff. But I think if you attack or anything like that, then you unhide them. I was trying to see if it said specific. You think it would have something right with that, with unhiding guys, but yeah, it doesn't really list that anywhere. But I would imagine as soon as you attack or anything like that, it would unhide them. It just doesn't specify that. Alright. But yeah, no, that's kind of a cool way. He can kind of get out of the way of everybody. Alright, then we have Frenchie. So Frenchie says, I carry them all with me. Main, pay a green. For each character Frenchie has stunned this game, put a -1/-1 counter on each enemy character. Interesting. So you probably have to, like, keep counters or trackers on him to know whether or not you've stunned somebody. Do they have the specified rules for each character? It says, I carry on counts. Each character Frenchie has stun, including by combat and by using a superpower. No, if Frenchie is KO'd and you play a new copy of Frenchie, the count will start over. Well, that makes sense. Yeah. Interesting. That's pretty cool, though. -1/-1 counters. Mother's Milk. You get further treating people like people. Build. During the build phase, you can pay yellow. Choose an enemy player to draw a card. You draw 2 cards. The Butcher. Who has stealth. Butcher can melee attack protected characters. So protected characters, any character that is in the back row behind a front row character. And it doesn't matter where directly. It doesn't have to be like, oh, my character's in spot 3 and they're in spot 3 behind it. As long as there's a character in the front row and there's someone behind them, they're protected. Don't worry, it can get a lot more horrible. If the enemy's supporting character would gain any number of wounds or -1/- counter, it gains twice that many instead. So put a 1/1 counter on each enemy character, right? And then any supporting character gain any number of wounds or -, gains twice that many instead. Combine these two together, right? You have Butcher out and you play Frenchie's ability. You can double that counters on everybody. We have Pop Claw. Terminal Beauty. When Pop Claw strikes a supporting character, this combat KO it. Kamiko, who has Leap. She gains the flying ability on your turn. And flying again lets you go attack over a row. So if you're in the front row, you can attack a back row on the other side. Or if you're in your back row, you can attack your opponent's front row. No, I'm sorry. It just lets you fly over the front row. If you have ranged and flying, you can attack from your back row to your opponent's back row. Just lets you ignore your opponent's front row, but you still have to attack within the correct range. Ferocious. While in melee combat, Kimiko strikes before each character is out Ferocious, so she gets to hit first, so she might take them out well before they do, which is good because she doesn't have high defense here. And a Miracle. If Kimiko is in your tail pile, put on her side with a 1/1 counter on her. Cool. We have Sora from Kingdom Hearts. No, we have Mesmer. Heads up, nod to anyone that got that reference. If there are no secrets from me, look at an enemy player's hand and choose a card. That player discards that card. Oh, that's mean. We have Starlight, the boys version. There was a white version as well. I'm a fighter, I'm going to fight. When Starlight gets attacked for the first time each turn, you may daze an attacker. Touch me and I'll burn your eyes out. Remove an enemy hand from the game face down. For the rest of the game, at the start of each turn, that player they randomly put 2 of those cards into their hand. Interesting. That's a really neat ability. From each group of cards they remove. So, okay, cool. So that way, if you do this like once, let's say like 8 cards in their hand, and you do this, right? Okay, so their next turn they'll draw 2 cards back from there, and then the next turn they've drawn 2 more. So now they have 4 cards left in that pile, and let's say they've had some other card draws on their turn, so they still have another 4 cards in their hand. You play this ability again, it would get rid of that second one, but it adds it to a second stack. That's pretty cool. I'm a fighter. Daze. I wanted to see what it said what Daze did in this list of keywords, which I can't ever find when I'm actually looking for it. Daze. An effect that stuns a character without the character gaining a wound. It works like the character's getting stunned, except for adding a wound. So basically, it flipped them upside down, and they lose all their counters. They just don't take damage from it. So that's pretty cool. Alright, so before I hop on to the plot twists, I just want to note this. So for supporting character, 1 health, 1 health, 1 health, 1 health, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1. So every single character on here only has 1 health. So they're all pretty fragile. So they're only able to take 1 damage and then defeated. Alright, then we have some plot twists. So plot twists can be played at very specific times. They're going to list up here whether they're like any time or certain individual times. And down here, let's say specifically when. So Diabolical says, Put a -1/-1 counter on supporting character in combat equal to its printed health. So, yeah, a basic character has a 1/1. That's going to reduce their health by 1, but if you end up fighting like a bigger guy, you all see if he got 5, right? Definitely going to hurt. And I'm going to guess, yeah, once we start getting into some of the Supes characters, they have like 2s and 3s for health. Because again, they're more super powered than these guys, so that's going to make a difference. And we still have 4 copies of each of these. Mind them bars. During the main phase, pushing enemy front row supporting character in its back row, it is immobile on the next turn. It can't move during its formation step. Nice. And then again, if there's no characters in the front row, then no one's protecting the back row. Now the back row can be attacked even from your front row. It's gonna be, there's nobody there, so they're gonna just walk over and attack them. Like, treat it like it's the front row. It's a burn. Combat. Choose a defending supporting character on your side with a 1 printed health. Remove it from combat, then hide it. Oh, neat. So a great way to like pull you out of combat so your character doesn't die. You've done a murder. Combat. Put a 1/1 counter on an attacker on your side. It is lethal this combat. If it wounds a defending supporting character, KO it. Nice. Then we have a special location. Alright, and we have 4 copies of this. So special locations work like this. So, for this character, this can be used as any of the 4 power symbols for any boy's character. So you can flip it over, and it acts as any single one, but only if they're boys. So if you're playing this, mix it into any other deck, again, Avengers deck, or, the Buffy deck, or whatever, any other photogenic deck, it would not do anything for these other characters for the ability-wise. Then we have 4 copies of our basic locations. So these are ones you can have in there. You can have up to 4 copies of each, and they give you their special abilities. So you can turn this face down to use it as a blue for the psychiatric hospital. These are energy, I believe. Genius for a secret meeting place, which are the yellow symbols. The movie set, which is green for strength. And the sparring room, which is a red target. So yeah, these are cool. And then each deck will all have 4 copies of each of these as well. So there's going to be 4 more in the other deck, which will be the exact same cards. Then the last 2 cards we have for the boys set. We only have 2 copies of these because there will be 2 in this deck and 2 in the other for a total of 4. It says, you've done good, lad. So this is the one that doesn't have any sort of symbol on the top. Because you're going to be using either deck. It says combat. Choose a boys or a Vought character. Choose an attacker to get +1/+1 in this combat for each face-up character on the side with a chosen team affiliation. So basically, the more guys you have of the same type, this will get more powerful. Pretty cool. Alright, then let's head over to the boys' side. Or the Vought side. We're going to start with A-Train. Who at level 1 says, the world's fastest man. Pay a red, ready A-Train. He can use his power any number of times on your turn. Can't stop, I can't stop. Level up 5. When A-Train attacks, he gains 1 XP and -1/-1 counter. Ooh, interesting. So, by the time he levels up, he's technically going to have 0 attack, 0 health. Or 0 attack, 0 defense, right? Unless you can get rid of them. Then when he levels up, he's going to keep all of his things, but he's going to be he's a 7/7, so it actually makes him a 2/2. He keeps world fastest man. He is addicted to compound B, meaning put 7 +1/+1 counters on A-Train. At the start of your next turn, put -7/-7 counters on him. Interesting. So then he can boost, the counters interact each other. So when he levels up, I believe all his counters, he keeps all his counters. And then you, this one, like, he gains a bonus for, like, 1 turn. And then he loses, he immediately goes back to being 0/0. So you have to find ways to remove counters off of him. I was trying to see if they had mentioned in the leveling up section of here. Yes, leveling up. New version of your character, same character gets more powerful. They retain the same orientations as previous version. Ready and exhausted, base up, base down. Put each wound and +1, +1, -1 encounter equipment is on the previous version onto the new one. Yeah, so when you level him up, he's gonna end up being a 2/2 because he'll have 5 -1 counters on him, and then if he uses ability, the 7 will come on him, but 5 of them will cancel each other out. So he'll only be up +2, +2. So he'll be a 9/9, which is powerful, but then he'll drop back down. You'll put the -7, -7 counters on there, which will, 2 of them will get erased, so he'll still have 5 minuses on him. If you somehow got him from here, and you got rid of all them 5 counters before you use that ability, he'd gain 7, then he'd lose 7. So put him, so that wouldn't actually be too bad, because then he'd be at 14, and he'd be back down to 7. But if you don't get rid of them, counters, and now he's going to be back down to a 2/2, so he's going to be really weak. So interesting, very interesting mechanics. We have the big baddie Homelander, who has sticks and stones won't break my bones. For combat, pay a green. Homelander can't be stunned this combat. You guys are the real heroes. Level up 4. When a character with a printed 1 health appears on your side, Homelander gains 1 XP. Interesting. So he wants to like get some minor guys to come help him. And then when he levels up, keeps sticks and stones, says we're a different breed. Each supporting character with 2 or more printed health on your side can't be stunned this turn. So basically he's going to boost up all the big guys on your side. Neat. Interesting. We have Queen Maeve. Casual Cruelty. Putting up -1, -1 counters on an enemy supporting character to make its defense -1. Or its defense 1. Never let them see you like this. When an enemy character gains 1 or more -1, -1 counter, she gains that many XP. Cool. So basically you put in a higher card, she's going to level up quicker, or you can try and do in a bunch of small ones. And then her upper and bottom list, Casual Crowdy, putting up -1, -1s on enemy character makes its defense -1. So is there a difference between these? No. Oh yeah, so enemy supporting character to just enemy character. So you can put it on their main one as well. Just be original. Choose a supporting character and remove all counters from it. Interesting. So you can get rid of all your minuses or all your opponent's positives. Cool. Then we have Starlight. So you should look away. Choose an enemy character to choose 2 face-up supporting characters on a side. Daze both of them. Or I'll blind you. Level up 5. At the end of your turn, Starlight gains 1 XP for each stunned enemy character. Here's the thing. It doesn't matter if she stuns them or somebody else stuns them. So long as they're stunned, she's going to gain a bonus. Her level 2 is kind of neat because it has Void and Void. She can use both. Keeps you should look away, and all I wanted was to save the world. If another character on your side is defending, daze each attacker. Cool. That's pretty neat. Their last main character is going to be the Deep. I mean, yeah, I can talk to fish. Draw, look at the bottom 7 cards of your deck, set 2 aside, and shuffle the rest into your deck. Put aside cards on the top in any order. The Green Crusader Initiative. When you play a green location, Defender gains 1 XP. Interesting. So it's a little bit harder because you have to play one with a green on it. And then he has, I can dock the fish. He says, Trouble at the dock, river, lake. Put the bottom 7 cards of the enemy deck into their tail pile. Oh, neat. Like, slowly, like, drain them of their energy. That's cool. So that's one thing I really love about this game is that every character not only main character not only plays different, means you have to build your deck different. They all have very unique leveling up abilities. Like some are just like, oh, every time you attack or draw a card or play a card, but some are like you have to do this extra special thing, which I think makes the game very interesting because it's not just always the When you KO 3 guys, you level up. Like, or every time you defeat someone, gain an XP token. It's all these different ways you have to, like, manipulate your deck, trying to make your main character stronger so they can live. Because, like, again, same a lot of health, but being able to have 6 attack and 8 defense means you're going to survive a lot more battles. Cool. Alright. Supporting characters. Again, 4 copies of each, unless otherwise noted. We have Donna January. This was our dream. Meaning, put a 1/1 counter on each other Vought character on your side. Donna pays 1 less power symbol to use his power with Starlight Space up on your side. Oh, so if she's on your side, it is free. That's awesome. It's gonna make her a target then you get rid of. Ashley Barrett, SVP of Hero Management. Build, draw a card for each face-up Vought character on your side with a printed 2 or higher cost. Nice. So you're already noticing right here is the boys had a lot of stuff where maybe they powered up or played with counters or KO'd stuff, right? But they didn't really have anything where they generally relied upon each other or other boys' characters too much. The Vought characters have a lot of stuff where they're generally looks like they're going to be playing off of having other Vought characters or Supes. The Black Noir, Stealth, can melee attack protected characters and ambush. When Black Noir attacks an exhausted character, put 2+1/+1 counters on him. Cool. Dr. Jonah Vogelbaum. You are my greatest failure. Put a -1/-1 counter on enemy character. It loses and can't gain keywords or superpowers until it has no -1/-1 counters on it. Nice. And it's an enemy character. So you can even put this on a main character. Oh boy. I mean, it's only a 1/1 counter, right? But if they have other ones for other reasons, dang. Madeline Stillwell, sorry. We make Hero Super. Choose a main character on your side to gain attack defense equal to its printed attack defense until she leaves your side. That's pretty cool. The Deep. Dolphin Rescue Attempt. Search your deck for a character. Almost put it onto your side, but instead put it into your KO pile. I'm sorry. I've never seen a card say that. Like, this seems like a, like we're playing a Deadpool set where I have like a jokey ability, but that's funny. I almost put it on your side, but instead put it in your KO pile. I'm sure it's a reference to the show where he's probably trying to rescue a dolphin, and he didn't quite rescue it. It actually has some neat ideas too, right? You could always go pull cards out of your KO pile. Interesting. We have Doppelganger. Look like. As Doppelganger appears, choose another supporting character on any side. Doppelganger becomes a copy of that character, but keeps its own name. Cool. I'm going to guess that this is going to have special rules for it. Let me just check here. Nope, they did not put any other special rules in here. I do want to look at this, though. The Deep supporting character. To almost put it on your side, you could lower the character card close to the table without touching it and then sadly place it into your KO pile. If it helps, try to imagine you rescued a dolphin. It's on the back of your speeding van, but then when a cop blocks the road, slams your brakes, the dolphin crashes through your windshield and splats onto the street 50 feet in front of you, and then is run over by a truck. That is wow. That's all I have to say about that. I'm gonna keep moving on. We have Ezekiel, My Loving Embrace. Ming, move any number of supporting characters to their front row. We have A-Train. Here comes the A-Train. You can power up A-Train with any Vought character. Okay, cool. We're talking about the uniqueness thing, so you can use any other character. The train has left the station. A-Train attacks at the end of the combat and remove a 1/1 counter from him if you do ready him. Neat. So basically, you can boost him to put a 1/1 counter on him. And when he attacks, you can get rid of that to keep powering him up. And that works very well with that one lady we just had very early on. Oh, it's for a main character, though. I say they boosted up a character, but it boosts up a main character. It would work well with her, right? Put a woman counter on each other Blake character on your side. So you can do that and just give them an extra one that way, too. Interesting. We have Translucent. Invisible. Translucent doesn't protect characters and can attack protected characters. Carbon Mega Material Sting. While Translucent is attacking a supporting character, he can't be struck. Nice. Queen Maeve, who has tough. When Maeve gets stunned, you may recover. She still gets wounded. She takes a wound, but she's ready to attack or defend again. I really did break every bone in my arm. When Maeve recovers, put a -1 counter for each wound she has. Interesting. So she can get a bunch of extra wounds, but she also has 12/12 attack and defense to begin with. We have Starlight. Didn't we already have Starlight at the beginning? Or am I just... No. I'm just losing it. That's alright. Electricity goes in. For the rest of the game, starting your next turn, Starlight can use Blast Comes Out. Blast Comes Out, a supporting character on Starlight can only be used if she has used Electricity Goes In on an earlier turn. Okay, so you have to spend it once. And then a second time, now you can stun a supporting character every time. Interesting. Then our final supporting character is the supporting character version of Homelander, who has flying, ranged, and 14/14. I can do whatever the hell I want. Build, main, or any combat. Search your deck for a card and put it into your hand. Yeah, I guess you can. You just like, whatever. That's cool. We also have, before jumping to everything else, we have 4 copies of Compound V, which is an equipment card. So these are kind of neat. So you play these, and it says, manufactured by Void. Equip Compound V to a Void main character. So this is something that comes into play, can only be attached to them. And then steroids for Supes. The first time equipped character uses a superpower each turn, it pays 1 less power symbol. So that's just going to make them get to play all their abilities a lot cheaper. If we go ahead and we jump back in and we look at all their powers. So it costs 1, costs 1, costs 1. So all of them basically cost 1, but right? But yeah, being able to do that. So if you can get this equipped early on, each time the equipped character uses a superpower, each turn it pays 1 less power symbol. So that's kind of neat. You can have a bunch of those on there. Then we have some plot twists. So we have this 7. For combat, your main character is defending either +7 attack or +7 defense. They'll find you. Choose a character as a +2 attack for this turn as stealth. Then supporting characters a turn. It can melee attack protected supporting characters. Cool. Y cell for ordinary. Put a 1/1 counter on supporting character in the combat equal to that character's printed health. Then we have our special location. Gets you the bonus for each one. We have each of Vought Lab. I only have 2 copies of that. Do I only have 2 copies of the other one? Or am I losing it? No, I had 4 copies of... 4 copies of the one for the boys, but we only have 2 copies of Vought Tower. Oh no, there's 4. They just got mixed in with somewhere else. Okay, so we do have 4 copies. Then the last ones we have the other 2 copies of You Done Good Lad, and then the other basic location, because I'm not going to throw up there. Yeah, so this is a very interesting set. So yeah, if you're looking to add you're looking for some more versus system cards, you want to play with your Marvel heroes, or your, again, like Buffy, X-Files, Alien Predators, you want to mix some other stuff in there. There's some really cool cards in there. If you're just looking to start the game off and like you enjoy the boys, this could great card game to get into. And again, maybe it might lead you to some of the other stuff. The boys have some really interesting abilities. Again, a little bit higher health totals on some of the support characters. A lot more stuff with adding counters and boosting them up, making them stronger. For the Vought characters, the boys have a lot more stuff that's -1/-1 counters. They're or KOing stuff. They're about taking things off the board. So the soup side wants to get stronger. The boys side wants to kind of like knock things down and take them out. So really cool. But again, you can also mix and match the two sides together. The only downside to mixing and matching stuff is they have team attacks. So if you want to attack with multiple characters at the same time as a group, so they have a bigger power number. And then your opponent has to decide which characters to take out. So, hey, if they're only blocking with one, they can only take out one of the, like, maybe 3 characters you attack with and help protect some of your characters. Is that once you have multiple teams, they can't attack. So you couldn't have Butcher and Homelander team attack together. So that is kind of the one downside about mixing multiple different groups together. But yeah, this is a pretty cool set, some pretty neat stuff. Some good differences from the other games as well. So hope you guys enjoyed this video. If there's other games you would like to see me do, other things you'd like me to re-review, or whatever else, just hit me up in the comments. I would love to hear from you. Plus, check out the other Versus System games. See you guys later. Bye.